In 2020, a mother and daughter quietly went viral on TikTok, not because of talent or creativity, but because millions of strangers became convinced they were watching a kidnapping unfold in real time. At first, the internet focused on one man, a shadowy figure who appeared in the background of their videos. People believed he was the one holding them captive, but that theory collapsed immediately because he was the little girl's uncle. But internet detectives kept digging, trying to figure out if the mother-daughter duo was truly in danger. And what they uncovered was shocking, because suddenly, the concern wasn't about a kidnapping, it was about the mother, Bebe.
I have someone locked in my basement right now.
What they found was disturbing. A woman with multiple arrests, including domestic violence with children. A woman so controlling that her own son tried to speak out. She allegedly cut him off completely, confiscating his devices and deleting his social media. A woman who blurred the line between parenting and exploitation, dressed her 8-year-old daughter in heavy makeup, putting a collar and leash on her and broadcasting it all to millions. A woman who made adult content in the late 90s and early 2000s and appeared in controversial shows that were built on public humiliation, like The Jenny Jones Show. What began as a simple concern quickly spiraled into a full-scale investigation involving the FBI and U.S. Marshals.
U.S. Marshals have investigated it. Ralph Garcia investigated.
Internet detectives analyzed every video, every background detail, every person who appeared on camera. And before long, the search led somewhere nobody expected. Real missing children, real families, and questions that still do not have answers.
On a little girl named Ava Grace Baldwin. She was just 6 years old when she was reported missing from her elementary school in Texas.
Armchair detectives claiming Catherine and Ava Baldwin are on TikTok using the profile of Bebop And Bebe. The TikTok videos rack up a lot of comments.
This is the story of the most disturbing mother on TikTok. Bebop and her mother, Bebe, started making a name for themselves on TikTok when the COVID-19 lockdowns began, and millions of people were confined indoors and scrolling for hours at a time. Their timing was perfect. Their formula was simple. A young girl named Bebop and her mother Bebe filmed short videos, choreographed dances, lip-sync performances, makeup transformations, and costume reveals. Nearly all of it took place inside the same brightly decorated bedroom, a setting that would later become the center of their kidnapping saga. The channel was marketed as a fun variety show, and on the surface, that's exactly what it appeared to be. Colorful, energetic, family-friendly. Within a short period, they amassed millions of followers and accumulated over 1 billion total videos. Individual uploads regularly crossed into the tens of millions. They also expanded to YouTube, where their channel eventually reached over 700,000 subscribers and more than 1,000 upload videos. Brands like Jordan Ake Jeans took notice.
Do you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle.
I never met nobody like you.
And according to an article, they launched and later patented a slime product line, which they advertised on their TikTok. Behind the TikTok fame was another world entirely. Bebop was actively competing in child beauty pageants. She competed under a stage name, Bebop Bardot, and took home titles like Miss Candy Kiss 2021 and Miss Rodea Diva. She was doing vocal training with a professional coach and had even recorded original songs released on streaming platforms. By the time she was 8 or 9 years old, this child was not just a TikTok star. She was being positioned as a full-service entertainment brand. And from the start, the audience started questioning whether she was being forced into it. From the outside, it looked like a family success story, at least at first. One thing seemed very peculiar to their audience. One little detail about their content made people uncomfortable. The mother-daughter duo never left their one small room while on camera. Any other creator, any other family vlogger on the entire platform would have at least one video filmed outside, at a park, at a restaurant, in a car, but not Bebop and Bebe. According to fans, every single video was filmed in the exact same bedroom. The same flamingo decals, the same stuffed animals, the same pink and purple walls. It was as if they were stuck in one place and could never leave. People started asking questions in the comments. What are your real names? How old is the little girl? Why are you always in the same room? Why is everything in the room always the same? However, the mother and daughter never responded to a single one of them. They never acknowledged the questions. They never cleared the air. They just kept posting. Same room, same routine, same silence. And that silence, that's what lit the fuse. Because here's the thing about TikTok's algorithm. It rewards engagement above all else. The more people commented asking whether Bebop was safe, the more the algorithm pushed the videos onto other people's For You pages. The more people shared the clips with captions like, "This TikToker is in danger," and "She cried, she's in danger," the more the content went viral. During this time, Bebop and Bebe gained numerous new followers, all in the middle of the conspiracy suspicions. It was a self-perpetuating cycle. Curiosity bred views, views bred algorithmic promotion, and promotion bred even more curiosity. By mid-2022, the comment sections had transformed into something genuinely surreal. Viewers weren't just asking questions anymore. They were issuing instructions to cement their theories. Blink twice if you need help. Wear red if you're being forced. Wear yellow if you need help. And here's the part that sent the internet into absolute freefall. Bebop and Bebe started complying. If someone asked them to wear an orange shirt in the next video if they were in danger, Bebop wore an orange shirt. To believers, this was a hostage blinking Morse code into the camera. To skeptics, it was an adult Bebe who was a little too good at social media and was deliberately playing along to juice engagement. After all, with thousands of people suggesting every color of the rainbow, they were bound to wear one of them eventually. But either way, the result was the same. Millions of people were now emotionally invested in what they believed was a child crying out for rescue in plain sight. And the TikTok algorithm was more than happy to amplify every single second of it. A color coding theory emerged that assigned specific danger levels to the clothes Bebop wore. Some colors meant immediate danger, while others meant she was okay. If Bebop wore red, the comments would explode with people screaming to call the police. If the next video showed her in a calm blue dress, others would counter that maybe it was a false alarm. The specific meanings varied from post to post, and nobody could agree on what the colors actually meant. However, the analysis never stopped. Every outfit choice was decoded, every accessory was assigned a meaning, and every video became another data point in an investigation being conducted by millions of people who never met this child. And for some, they'd seen enough. They were sure something was off with the mother-daughter duo. I think we've all established that when we ask them to wear a specific thing if they need help, they will wear it next. Can we just figure out what to do? Said one comment. This isn't funny anymore. I just went through their account. They need to say a clue of where they are, another comment read. But here's the thing that nobody seemed to stop and think about in the middle of all this panic. Viewers had commented nearly every color imaginable. Red, blue, yellow, green. Repeated endlessly across hundreds of posts. Statistically, it was inevitable that future videos would appear to respond to at least some of them purely by coincidence. And when people began checking the timestamps more closely, another detail emerged. Many of the so-called predictive comments hadn't been posted before the videos. They appeared afterward. Someone would watch a video, notice the color Bebop was wearing, then return to an earlier upload and leave a comment instructing her to wear that same color in the next video. For example, in this video, dated 18th December 2021, has a comment telling Bebop to wear pink dress in the next video if you need help. And the next video, which was posted the next day, Bebop wears pink. On closer inspection, you'll find that the comment telling Bebop to wear pink was posted on the 19th December 2021, the day she posted the pink video. Out of context, the colors created the illusion of a signal, but in reality it was retroactive, a pattern constructed after the fact. It was a textbook example of confirmation bias. People weren't observing evidence and forming conclusions. They had already formed the conclusion and were now searching for evidence to support it. Every coincidence became validation. Every coincidence became proof. Anyone who took the time to go through their TikTok account would have easily debunked these conspiracies. For example, comments suggesting that she was held captive because she never left her room were easily refutable. In one video, they're out competing in a beauty pageant, and in others, they're out playing soccer and even taking part in stage plays. They even had videos of Bebop milking a cow and visiting NASA. Some videos even featured multiple girls who, according to the caption, were Bebop's cousins. Under normal circumstances, it likely would have ended there. But it didn't, because Bebe never addressed it directly. She didn't clarify the situation. She didn't reassure viewers. She didn't slow the speculation or correct the assumptions spreading across the platform. And as the rumors intensified, so did the attention. The views were rising. The engagement was exploding. The theories were pulling in millions of new eyes. Her silence wasn't hurting her, it was helping her. Every unanswered question made people watch longer, comment more, and share faster. And that attention translated directly into social media growth. Clearing the air would have stopped it. It would have ended the momentum, so she didn't. In fact, during TikTok lives, she would outright ignore the question.
Are you in danger?
Danger of what?
Are you in danger?
Getting old?
They said you kidnapped and report you.
Okay, one more match. All right,
Yeah, one more match.
One more match.
Let's go.
Well, their audience was about to take the entire thing to a level that nobody could have seen coming. You see, by that point, the process had taken on a momentum of its own. The armchair detectives weren't satisfied with coded clothing colors and hand gestures. They wanted a real story, a real crime, and a real victim. They wanted to match faces to FBI databases and case files to police reports. They wanted to be the heroes who cracked a kidnapping case through a social media app. And so they went looking. What they found, or rather what they convinced themselves they found, would drag two completely unrelated missing children cases into a vortex, send false tips flooding into overwhelmed police departments, and set the stage for one of the most reckless and damaging episodes of internet sleuthing in TikTok's entire history. And the worst part was that in the middle of it all were real families, real investigations, real missing children, whose cases were now being pulled into a narrative they had no connection to. The first and most prominent theory linked Bebop to a real missing child named Ava Grace Baldwin.
Little Ava Grace disappears at just age 6.
On a little girl named Ava Grace Baldwin. She was just 6 years old when she was reported missing from her elementary school in Texas.
Ava was 6 years old when she vanished on September 17, 2015 from San Antonio, Texas. The circumstances were heartbreaking. Ava's parents, her father David Hopper and her mother Catherine Ann Katie Baldwin, were locked in a bitter custody dispute. David had raised concerns about Catherine's ability to provide a safe environment and was seeking full custody through the courts. In response, Catherine allegedly pulled Ava out of elementary school without notice and disappeared. The school contacted David weeks later when Ava simply stopped showing up. She had been enrolled at the start of the year, but vanished after about 12 days. Catherine's silver 2014 Ford Escape bearing Illinois plates was found abandoned in a San Antonio parking lot 7 months later, but there is no sign of either mother or daughter. Authorities issued a felony warrant for Catherine.
Has a felony warrant for interfering with child custody. Police records show she has a history of alcohol and prescription drug abuse and suffers from mental illness.
Investigators believed they may have traveled to Chicago, Illinois, or other areas, but every lead dried up into a dead end. David had spent years tirelessly advocating for Ava's return, sharing age-progressed images showing what she might look like as a teenager, appearing in media interviews, and pleading with the public for any information. Now here's where the internet's pattern-matching machinery kicked into overdrive. TikTok and YouTube users began noting what they called eerie similarities between Bebop and Bebe and the missing Ava and Catherine Baldwin.
Grace are hiding in plain sight? Armchair detectives claiming Catherine and Ava Baldwin are on TikTok using the profile of Bebop And Bebe. The TikTok videos rack up a lot of comments from viewers who claim to see things in the videos that lead them to believe Bebe is being trafficked due to a lock seen in the bedroom they're using for filming.
Bebop, they said, had a similar face shape and eye color to age-progressed images of Ava. Bebop, with her changed hair color and style, somewhat resembled the photos of fugitive mother Catherine Baldwin. Internet detectives wondered whether Catherine had evaded authorities, changed her identity, and was now parading her kidnapped daughter on TikTok under everyone's noses. In one particular video, fans believed they had heard Bebe call her daughter Ava. Was Bebe trolling with internet detectives, or did she actually slip up and call her daughter by her real name? As the theory spread, it began attracting attention beyond TikTok itself. One of the people drawn in was a true crime YouTuber named Patrick, based in Austria. He spent months documenting the case, analyzing videos frame by frame, and assembling what he believed was a coherent timeline. He compared physical features, facial structures, and even examined background details, searching for anything that could connect Bebop and Bebe to Ava Grace and her mother, Catherine. Patrick became convinced there was a connection, and so did his audience. For a brief period, it appeared possible, at least to those following the story closely, that a missing persons case might be resolved through social media alone. But that moment didn't last, as Ava's own father responded to the speculation.
That was a good thing for it, but after seeing the videos, I recognized immediately that it wasn't her. There's just certain facial features and stuff like that she's seen that it wasn't Ava and it wasn't Katie.
In a public statement posted to Facebook, Ava's aunt addressed the speculation. She acknowledged that there was a resemblance, enough to understand why people had made the connection, but she did not believe they were the same person. The timelines didn't match. The ages didn't match. Ava Baldwin would have been significantly older by that point, already in her early teens. Bebop, by contrast, still appeared much younger, both physically and the way she behaved. Law enforcement investigated and confirmed that Bebop and Bebe are not Ava and Catherine Baldwin.
U.S. Marshals have investigated it. Ralph Garcia investigated it. They've been highly investigated.
You know what? You're absolutely...
Despite the investigation and even Ava's family confirming that Bebop and Bebe were not the missing mother-daughter duo, the internet wasn't satisfied, and it wasn't long before they shifted gears to yet another missing child. The second missing child linked to Bebop was Aranza Maria Ochoa Lopez, a 4-year-old girl who was abducted on October 25, 2018 from a shopping mall in Vancouver, Washington.
This afternoon, we are following a developing story. A 4-year-old girl missing. Police say her mother abducted her child during a court-supervised visit yesterday.
4-year-old Aranza Ochoa Lopez has been in foster care since being removed from her home last year. And during a supervised visit at the Vancouver Mall Thursday morning around 10 o'clock, police say her mother, Esmeralda Lopez, told the CPS workers she was taking Aranza to the restroom. Instead, she took off with her.
Aranza was in foster care at the time, and the abduction occurred during a court-supervised visit with her biological mother, Esmeralda Lopez Lopez. Esmeralda allegedly kidnapped Aranza from the mall and fled. She was later arrested in Mexico in 2019 and sentenced to 20 months for second-degree kidnapping, but Aranza remained missing, with authorities believing she was living with relatives in Mexico.
A woman accused of kidnapping her young daughter and bringing her to Mexico has now been arrested.
Because Aranza's mother had a somewhat similar look to Bebe, blonde hair, roughly similar build, and because the timeline meant Aranza would have been around 8 years old in 2022, close to Bebop's perceived age, theorists proposed that Bebop and Bebe were actually Aranza and Esmeralda in hiding. Online forums ran wild with the speculation, spinning stories that Esmeralda had fled with Aranza and started the TikTok account as a front. This theory, however, was definitively debunked by the FBI a few years later. In a rare happy ending for the real case, Aranza was found alive and safe in Mexico in March 2023 at the age of 8, and was safely returned to the United States after being missing for over 4 years.
A little girl who disappeared for nearly 5 years has been found, brought back to the U.S.
Her name is Aranza Lopez, and FBI agents found her in central Mexico. They say that she was kidnapped from a shopping mall in Vancouver by her biological mother in October of 2018.
She was never at any point the TikTok girl. She was a real child in a real situation who needed real help, not internet speculation linking her to an unrelated entertainment account. But here's what made this whole episode so deeply troubling and why it matters far beyond 2 debunked theories. These were real missing children. Ava Grace Baldwin is a real girl who's been missing since 2015. Her father, David, has spent a decade searching for her. Every false lead, every viral TikTok theory that sends thousands of tips flooding into police phone lines doesn't help find Ava. It actively hinders the investigation by burying legitimate tips under mountains of noise generated by amateur internet detectives who saw a vague facial resemblance and decided they'd solved the case. And while the internet was busy playing detective with the wrong suspects, the real questions about Bebop and Bebe, the ones that actually mattered, were going completely unanswered. Because behind the conspiracy theories and the missing children comparisons, a much quieter investigation was happening on Reddit and in YouTube deep dives. People weren't just asking who Bebop was, they were asking who Bebe was. And what they found was far more unsettling than any kidnapping theory because it was real. Internet sleuths traced the family through LLC registrations and public records. In July 2021, an entity called Bebop Bardot LLC was registered in Georgia, with its listed purpose under Arts, Entertainment, and Recreation. The company was registered in Georgia with a registered agent named Donald Evans. Apparently, this is the same man who appeared in videos as the brother, Bebe's brother and Bebop's uncle.
All right, so this is Bebop's first time at Learning Express. This is the brother.
Through Facebook connections, family trees, and public records, investigators traced the surname Evans across multiple family members. The woman behind Bebop appears in this photo from Jennifer Evans' page. She also appears in this photo from Gary Evans' page. We can easily establish that Evans is Bebop and Bebe's surname. And then there's the name that changes everything, Diane Patricia Evans. Reddit users and some YouTube investigators came to believe that Bebe's real name is Diane Patricia Evans. One YouTuber traced the connection through Facebook profiles, finding a post containing a photo shared by a Diane Patricia that showed a man, a child, and a woman whose white complexion, blonde hair, and features resembled Bebe. What's interesting is that this profile was posted by this account belonging to yet another person with the Evans surname. One more piece of evidence proving Bebe is indeed Diane Patricia Evans. On this Pageant Planet page, which features the mother-daughter duo, the web link shows that the profile belongs to a Diane Evans. A Diane Evans also runs their Instagram account. And when that name is run through public court records for the state of Georgia, the results are alarming. A long list of charges including speeding, fraud, battery, disrespectful conduct, and criminal trespassing. A deeper search on another website reportedly turned up additional charges, domestic violence with children, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Just to be sure we're talking about the right Diane Patricia Evans, public records show that she's related to names we've already established, such as Donald Evans, Jennifer Evans, and Gary Evans. Now, does a criminal record from someone's past automatically make them a bad parent today? Of course not. People change, people grow. But when that criminal record includes domestic violence charges involving children, and the person in question is running a massively popular TikTok account that profits from conspiracy theories about her own daughter being abused and kidnapped, and she does nothing to dispel those theories, the context becomes impossible to ignore, and the rabbit hole went even deeper. A separate theory emerged on Reddit connecting Bebe to someone named Colette Dupree, who is reportedly an adult film performer active between 1997 and 2000, and even appeared on The Jenny Jones Show.
Listen to what I say, because I am a book of knowledge I'm playing.
My sister!
How long are you second grade? You ugly! It's just
Angel, how many men have you played?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. Probably 500 for every hair on my head.
500.
I am a player. Shut up, you toothpick.
Where's it at?
You ain't no man. You're a toothpick. I'd break you.
I know you.
Investigators noted facial similarities between photos of Dupree from that era and current images of Bebe, including the way their hair parts on the same side. Whether this connection is genuine remains unconfirmed and firmly in the territory of internet speculation. However, it's added yet another layer to the increasingly complex nature of who Bebe really is. What's becoming clear, even as the kidnapping theories were being debunked left and right, was that the real story of Bebop and Bebe had nothing to do with missing children or coded clothing colors. The real story was about a mother, a child, and the increasingly blurry line between entertainment, exploitation, and negligence. And nothing illustrated that line more clearly than the brother who vanished. Peyton, Bebop's older brother, appeared in early videos, participating in family skits alongside his mother and sister. But around 2020 or 2021, he stopped appearing entirely. His social media accounts were reportedly deleted or set to private. He simply vanished from their digital world as if he had never existed. Around the same time, screenshots circulated purporting to show a private message exchange with Peyton, in which he allegedly confided to a fan that he and his sister were being forced to make content by their mother. In the unverified screenshot, Peyton reportedly said he couldn't talk much, but that things weren't as they seemed and he was made to participate. This was explosive. If true, it was an inside confirmation of the exploitation theory from a member of the family itself. Shortly after these screenshots surfaced, Peyton's social media accounts were reportedly deleted or set to private, and he no longer appeared in any Bebop and Bebe content. And then a video surfaced that made everything worse. In what appeared to be a recorded conversation, Peyton apologized for previously claiming he had been forced to participate in the videos.
I lied and I hurt them. I hurt their business, what they were trying to do. something that they enjoyed, and it was something that I shouldn't have done. It was very stupid of me, and I'm very sorry to both of them and to everything that they were trying to accomplish.
And what did you lie about?
That I was forced.
Say it.
That I was forced.
Were you ever forced?
No.
Were you ever threatened?
No.
Was there any consequences to not doing a video?
No.
Did you like it at the end, being famous?
Yeah.
To the conspiracy community, this video looked like a coerced retraction, a teenager being forced to recant on camera under pressure. To others, it sounded like a kid who said something impulsive online and was asked to set the record straight. The truth, as with everything in this story, is impossible to determine from the outside. A few weeks later, another small detail began circulating. Some people claimed they'd been communicating with Peyton through Snapchat. According to them, the conversations had continued normally for a period of time. Then, without explanation, they stopped. Messages went unanswered. The accounts were blocked. At first, it wasn't clear what had happened, but eventually Bebe addressed it. She stated that she had personally confiscated his phone and restricted his access to social media. Her reasoning was simple. He had been communicating with strangers online, and she decided to intervene.
To all you girls out there that are wondering where Peyton's social media went, I confiscated his phone. I caught him friending strangers. So you may see him on this channel or my Instagram.
Busted.
What is certain is that Peyton's complete disappearance from the family's online presence, combined with his initial claims of being forced to film, became one of the most discussed elements in the entire Bebop and Bebe saga. Reddit threads were devoted entirely to his vanishing, and she never mentioned him again. The silence was deafening, and it raised a question that was far more uncomfortable than any kidnapping theory. Even if Bebop isn't a missing child, even if there's no hidden captor behind the camera, is what's happening to her actually okay? You see, family accounts like Bebop and Bebe operate in a legal gray zone. Children appearing in parent-run social media content are not covered by the child labor laws that protect young performers in film, television, and theater. There are no mandatory work hour limits, no trust funds for earnings, and no independent oversight to ensure the child consents to or benefits from the content being produced in their name. Bebop has grown up in front of a ring light. She was competing in child beauty pageants where she wore sequined gowns, heavy makeup, fake teeth, and lashes, elements that are standard in the pageant industry, but are widely criticized for sexualizing children. She was recording original songs, doing vocal training with a professional coach, posting dozens of videos, and building an entertainment brand, all before the age of 10. By the time most kids are learning multiplication tables, Bebop was the centerpiece of a multi-million follower media operation. And then there was the leash. In a video that sparked massive controversy, Bebe was seen putting an actual leash and collar on Bebop. The little girl was dressed up, collar around her neck, leash in her mother's hand, while they performed a routine set to what viewers described as a more adult-themed song. Bebe seemed to be intentionally making Bebop look older than she was by using heavy makeup, mature outfits, and adult-themed dance routines, while also profiting from the fact that she was obviously still a child. It was a calculated contradiction. Make her seem older to attract a wider audience, but keep her young enough to maintain innocence that drives the sympathy and the conspiracies, whether intentional or not. The result was an account that attracted an uncomfortably broad spectrum of viewers, including the kind of audience that no responsible parent would want anywhere near their child. And what about Bebe's response to all of this? Her Linktree is remarkably telling. It includes a link to the Rolling Stone article about the conspiracy theories, a Skeptical Explainer article debunking the kidnapping claims, and links to charities for domestic violence, missing children, and human trafficking. At one point, she even revealed that she would be releasing a 3-part docuseries on their lives to clear the air on a lot of issues.
Me and Bebop are going to be doing a special live news show with 15 minutes news. Are going to definitely be shocked by what is in the 3-part series. I call it a docu-series.
However, the series never aired, so they decided to troll the very audience they used to propel their way to the top. Right now, they even have videos openly mocking their audience for thinking they were being held captive.
Ha ha ha, I can't believe I have to address this.
I am not kidnapped.
Are you not listening to me? Do you not hear what I'm saying? I quite literally bought her off of eBay. You cannot buy humans off of eBay. She is a robot. She's an older version. That's why she looks like my grandma.
Hello, I'm Bebe 2.0. My main mission is to protect Bebop.
She's not kidnapped. She comes with glitches.